The very first thing is knowing who we are and where are we going. And by knowing who you are and where you're going, you can begin to analyze your behavior, set a plan on your vision, and then work backwards. And as you have this goal and you're working backwards to where you're at, you're going to look at what you have and start immediately. And I know this doesn't sound normal, because it's not normal, because the majority of people put things off. And they put them off until they have the money. They put it off till they have the time, so-called. They put it off till whatever excuse you make. Don't do that. You never put things off what you can do today. And there's always something that you can do today. And this is one thing that I learned, and it is a very important lesson, because as you are willing and your willingness to adapt to the change, to the committed decisions that you have to make, to adapting to building yourself, qualities, qualifications that you have to have, picking up books in the area of the field of what it is that you want to do, you begin to grow. And goals are not to get there, they're to grow. It's who you're becoming along the way. As you're growing and you're adapting to the changes, you're going to do the research, you're going to study, you're going to understand what it is that you're working on, that you're needing to do, who you're needing to become, truly is what it is. You're going to begin to fire and wire new and neural pathways that you've never fired and wired before. And this is where the change begins to happen. As you begin to fire and wire new neural pathways in your brain, you begin to become stimulated and think in a different way. And your outlook on life begins to change, and you start taking actions. And actions is really what breeds success into anyone, because the action is going to bring its attraction. Action, attraction, it's a law. Without thought, there's no action. So thought is the pretense to all things. Desire and want is a prerequisite to all creation. Getting starting is the big one. Getting started and doing things that you are not going to do is where the shift begins to take place. Attraction is going to be the responding set of reality. When we look at reality, we look at life as physical. We see, hear, taste, touch, smell it. We see the things that we see. And what we see is conditions, conditions and circumstances. Let's talk about that a little bit, because that's usually what gets people stuck. Not that the conditions and circumstance gets them stuck, is they see the conditions and circumstances as they are not feasible or not possible for where they're at. And let me tell you, that's, again, the wrong way of thinking. This is actually the normal way of thinking. The average individual will not go beyond what they know how to do. The average individual is going to wait. The average individual will conform and give every reason why it can't be done right now, so they can put off the inevitable. And that's taking the action, doing the thing. And this is normal. You've got a normal human, normal operating brain. The average individual, when it comes to taking actions, will not want to do it. And conformity is normally what they do. Don't do that. You don't want to do that. Why? Because you know that you're worthy of more. As you begin to take on any challenge, and if you get in the mental habit of taking on any challenge and doing it, you're going to grow, you're going to stretch. But that also takes responsibility for yourself and sitting down and devising a plan. This past month in our seminar, once again, we do seminars once a month. We normally do it in English, the last Thursday of every month. And on Wednesdays, we normally do Spanish. And this last month, we were going over creative imagination, and we were going over your self-image. You will never find one aspect of the law of success where the other one's not integrated. You're going to find your self-image in everything, because everything's your self-image. You have to use creative imagination in everything you do. You can never get away from it, and you never do want to get away from it, because everything's creative. Everything in life, everything as you see it today, came out of somebody's imagination. That's right. Think about it. Everything that we have today that did not come from nature was born out of the imagination of man. The cup I see, spiritual. Why is this spiritual? Because somebody's spiritual intelligence brought it down. Cup, pin, telephone. How did they learn to think on frequencies? How did they learn to make phone calls all around the world? How did they learn how to open up without a wire? Kid you not, without a wire. They're able to connect all over the world, underground, above ground, underwater. And they could tap into frequencies, and you can even see the person in the world. How's that possible? The laws of nature haven't changed. We just began to understand them more. The phone was possible many years ago. The awareness was not there. Or, for some reason or another, society wasn't ready for it yet. Now, what we're beginning to understand is that any idea that is held in the mind will begin at once to clothe itself in its most convenient and appropriate form available. Andrew Carnegie said, any idea that is held in the mind, any idea. Look. Clothing, jacket, shirts, the building, the chair I'm sitting in, any idea that's held in the mind. Reverse engineer everything that man has made in the last 12,000 years. What do we have? More of nature, nature's way. More of the way God made it. Really think about what I'm saying. What you're going to find is more of what God made. Interesting. All the little animals still live in their environment. All the little animals still reason more or less with their consciousness. We're the only ones that we know it at this time, or that we're aware of, society's way of thinking, that has gone beyond the animal. And when we look around, what we see is God's way working through man. He's the only one that did not want to live in his environment. He created his environment, and he keeps creating his environment. He keeps creating new things. He keeps imagining and going beyond. He keeps thinking. Now, you may think, well, where's all the inventors? Well, there's not as many as there are absorbers of creation and users of creation. There's very few value creators. Very few. But there's a whole lot of value production. Now, what's the difference between a value creator and somebody that values creation, somebody that values thinking stuff into form, somebody that values building and creating things as a value to be compensated for that value? Those people get work to work for them. Value creators, I'm going to say this again. Value creators get work to work for them. We were not programmed in this way. The average individual was not programmed to value creation. They were programmed, designed, habitually designed to value production. We do. I did it from go. And you may be looking at me on the other side of the screen of this and saying, well, wait a minute. I don't value production. But yet, what was the very first thing you went and done? If you went into the workforce, if you went to go work for money, Think about this. If you went to go work for money, you went straight into value production. And it's very rare that somebody gets out of it. 97, 98% of humanity, their mindset is geared to value production. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. But if you want to go beyond production and you want to get money to work for you, you're on the other side of the coin. And only 3% rest on the other side of the coin. 3. This is why the odds are so off. Only 3%, their mindset is already organized to think in a certain way. Now, this is organized planning all month long. 3% are trained and programmed to value creation, to create values for others. Value creation. Create values for others. And they get that value to work for them. They get that value to trade its time for them, so that they don't have to trade their body. And their body is no longer the value. Their labor is no longer the value. So they're not stuck in time, trading their body for money. Now, you may not get this the first time. Chances are you need to rewind this over and over and over again. This is the way I learned. This is how it changed my life. It's through repetition that we get a better understanding. It's through the constant spaced repetition, study and repetition, that you grow. Now, get this straight, because this will change your whole life. The people that value production are stuck, because they're trading their life and they have to go through time to get paid. They have to trade their time, start at 8, maybe 6 a.m., maybe 5 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. It doesn't matter. If it's your body, it still has to travel through time to get paid. Wow. It still has to travel through time to get paid. And the average individual travels their whole life in this manner to get paid. It's rare that people break out of this. Rare. Why? Because that was the strategy. You may be thinking, well, wait a minute. What is he talking about? You see, the mind works in a certain way. And nobody ever taught you the mind. Nobody ever taught me the mind. They didn't teach me that the mind is a perpetual transmutation of thought energy. It just keeps thinking and it just keeps going on its own. You don't even have to trigger it. It's just going. I watched a funny movie one day. It was a cartoon. I really don't watch movies. Watch them every once in a while with the family. And the kids are watching this, and I remember one part of it. I didn't watch the whole movie, but I remember a part, and they were laughing. They were talking about this. There was this dog, and they would see a squirrel, and it was off another place, and it was off to another place. And they were laughing, squirrel, and here this dog, we're seeing this animal, is being moved around, and the dog cannot remain focused and just see the squirrel, and he's off. And you see the squirrel, and he's off. But at the same time, I was thinking, well, how often are we on? We've seen this dog, and we're laughing, they're laughing. This dog is getting moved by the things around him all the time. He's a plaything of the things around him. But how many of humans are the plaything of the things around them? My God, if I saw a squirrel and I just took a little time off to myself, I'd actually be relaxed. My mind is focused on where I'm going, what I'm doing. The squirrel's focused on where he's going, what he's doing. He's chasing the nut. The dog was the one that was confused. Interesting. Now let's look at humans. In the absence of clearly defined goals, the world has become strangely enslaved by daily trivia. in the absence of clearly defined goals, we, the world, has become strangely enslaved by daily trivia. This has not just been going on for one generation. It's been going on generation after generation after generation because they don't have their own vision. And if they do have a vision, it's deadlocked on production. Deadlocked. So here we have children amongst children, amongst children, amongst children. And we've done the only thing that we knew how to do. We begin to teach them what we learned. And our children just go and do, like I did, what we know how to do. We go to earn money because everybody needs money. But the way we earn it from get-go was time for money. You get stuck on that, you're stuck because you eventually run out of time. I got to the point where I wanted more money. The goal was more money. I was chasing that baby 18 hours a day, 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day, 19 hours a day. I did that for a little while, a good little while, several years. And what would I do? It didn't matter how much I pushed. I ran out of time. And eventually you get to the point to where you're at a salary. Now maybe you're doing hourly, then they move you to salary, and after salary, you're deadlocked. Time for money. Your day, your hours already been written for. The amount of money that you can earn every day is there. But it's your body that you're trading, and you can only trade it 1 second at a time. And if you want to go do something else, you can't do that because you're trading your time for money. Your value is already taken up. Your pay is already set. Now you're going to travel the rest of your life, travel through time, and you had no clue that you were stuck in a model. None. Then you try to get unstuck and you go look for other jobs, other businesses. You want to go do something else. And guess what? You don't know how to do those things either. And what do? Stay where you're at. Conform. Why do we do what we do? We don't even question why we do what we do. We didn't even question the people that were teaching us. We didn't even question the school society. Where am I going? If I continue on the same path, doing the same thing, I can predetermine more or less where you'll be at. If you were to give me 5 minutes with you, I can show you where you're going. Because everybody is the same. You say, oh, no, I'm different. Are you? Oh, no, I'm different. Are you? How often has your results changed? How often have you made a quantum leap? How many times have you taken your results and done 10 times your results, 20 times your results, 100 times, 1,000 times? That is not normal. What's normal is grow incrementally 10 to 15%. That's normal. I didn't want to be normal. And I believe that you don't want to be normal. If you don't want to be normal, you can't do as they do. You cannot keep doing as they've done. You got to change what you're doing. If you want better results, you got to look at you. If you want a better life, you got to change you. Because it's you, it's your mindset, it's the way you think that's taking you in the direction of your life. And you can never blame anybody else. Our family, parents have done everything they could, the people that raised you, everything they could with what they knew. Your responsibility is to get up, make a decision and choice, and change it. That's why we're here. I knew all around the world There's a hidden secret. All around the world, there's a hidden secret. And it's in each man. They need to learn how to evolve that secret. There's a hidden gem in you. There's hidden abilities. But you keep doing what? What you know how to do. And what you know how to do is wrong. That's why you keep getting the wrong results. And if you don't change what's wrong, you never change the result. Let's look at the other strategy. Value creation. They were taught to value sitting for ideas. They were taught to value their mind and their body, not as money, but as the creative part that thinks into results. To value their mind over their body, so that the body does not become the servant and money the master, so that their mind becomes the master and the money their servant. They were taught for money to serve them. They were taught values on what? Service. Values on serving others. Values on how to get a service to provide services for others. How to serve, whether it's in products or services, and get the services and products to work for them. They were taught to build companies. They were taught to build mechanisms that are automatic, that are driving, the driving force for value and services rendered. If you ever hear your kids say, I'm ready, I want to go work for money, we don't work for money. Value creators do not work for money. They get money to work for them. Again, the mind is a perpetual transmutation. And whatever you put in that baby, it just begins to think from there and begins to think. And that thought precedes a thought, that precedes a thought, that precedes a thought, that precedes a thought, and you're off to another place. If your starting point was value production, well, I'm going to work for money. And the thought precedes a thought, and then you're here. And then that thought precedes a thought, and then you're here. And then that thought precedes a thought, and now you're here. But the whole time, the starting point was what? Value production. So your whole life, you're going through time, experiencing what? Trading your time for money, trading your time for money. And you're in this rat chase. Time for money, them for money, it for money, me for money. And you're just looping along all these different jobs, doing what? Never getting ahead. Never getting ahead. Now, where a value creation is taught, we get money to serve us. My responsibility is to learn and understand what values I want to bring to the world so that I can get that value, trade its time for me. And if I ever decide on the value, I can decide, I can choose. Now, if we look at the illustration of this cup, if this individual made $1 a cup, they earned $1. The rest of the $2, or let's say maybe they made $1.50, or they made $2. The more they grow, they cut down the price, the cost. But let's say they were at $1 at one time. The other $2 would go to the building, the investments, the growing, but they made $1 a cup. Let's say they in one place they served 1,000 cups in an hour in a city. What did they generate in 1 hour? $1,000. Now, what changed its time? What traded? The cup did. The other $2 was pay the person that trades his time for money to serve the cup, to fill the cup, to give somebody else the goal and the vision. But the person who thought it, all the money goes back to them. Value creation. Person thought about bringing water to everyone's hands. What did they do? Because they thought of how to get it from the well to every city block. Money's working for them 24 hours a day. Because there's different times all around the world. There's people awake at different times all around the world. This money's working for them 24 hours a day, globally. An accident? Or is that the vision? You see, that's the difference in people. Majority of the people don't have goals, one, and the strategy was wrong to begin with. Really begin to think about what I'm saying. The strategy was wrong from zero. What do we do? What do you do? The very first thing I'm going to ask you is, what do you want to do? Very first thing when I work with people, what do you want to do? The majority of the people tell me, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And this is normal. Because we've never been taught to sit down and think what we truly desire, what we want. They don't sit us down and say, if you could have anything in the world, what would you have? Now, you may have heard it, but did you ever sit down and think? Did you truly sit down and say, if I could have anything in the world, what would I want? How would I be living? That's exactly what I'm telling you to do. Again, the goal is not to get, the goal is to grow. What would you be doing if you could live fulfilled the rest of your life? What would you be doing? If you could truly be fulfilled, enjoy what you do, what you're doing. You're playing all day long now. You play. Value creator. Value creators play all day long. I play. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I'm playing all day long. I'm being fulfilled. Now, let's talk about purpose. There's been a lot of people that I work with, and they have a goal. A lot of times, the people that reach me are the people that are in business, entrepreneurs. A lot of them are already wealthy. They're stuck. Yeah, a lot of them are already wealthy, but they're stuck. Why are they stuck? They don't know how to get out of the business they built. Why? Because we were not programmed to even have the business to begin with. And the way we built it around us. We're the energy. We're the thing that makes the whole thing go around. And without us, it won't run. I've seen this over and over and over again. A lot of times, the people that come and work with us are people that are earning over $200,000, $250,000 a year, $300,000, $500,000, $1 million, several million, doing $30, $60, $80 million deals, playing with billions of dollars. They get stuck too. You see, everybody gets stuck. This is why this is so huge, because it doesn't matter where you're at, you're going to get stuck. You're going to get stuck because you're going to get to the point, you're going to get to the limits of what you know how to do. And the hardest thing to do is to go beyond what you don't know how to do. Why? Because there's a cybernetic mechanism in all animals, all humans and machines. The minute it's time to go beyond what you know how to do, that baby kicks on and tries to stop you. A lot of people don't understand how the mind works, and they don't know how to get past this hump. When you get to the limits of what you know, the average individual stops. Now, I want to make this out to everybody that's starting off, or every young person that's hearing this. You're going to find your limits pretty damn quick. Everybody thinks they're going to take on the world and create everything, anything, everything want. 16, 17, 18, 19, you think you're going to take on the world. Guess what you find within the first 2 years? Guess what you find in the first year? Guess what you find immediately whenever it's time to go work for money or get money to work for you, which is very rare. You find yourself. Yeah, that's right. You find yourself. And you find all the limiting beliefs, all the can-do, can't-dos, all the reasons why it can, but all the reasons why it can't be done. What did you meet? Yourself. The average individual stops 24, 27. Little people try to push and stretch and grow a little further than that. Maybe 30s to 37. Very rare. 34. You go look at individuals and go look at where they're at. And you, if you're a young man, look at yourself. Go study people. You're going to see the average individual stops growing or stops learning. They go to college, they stop. They stop. They're done with college. They think they're done. That's the problem. That's the reason self-development is so important, because you're never supposed to stop. You never were supposed to stop developing yourself. You're stuck, not because you can't get unstuck, because you're programmed not to keep studying. You go to college, you think you're done. Well, you'll soon find out 4 or 5, 6, 7 years later that you're stuck again, because you've earned as much as you can earn. Why? Because you're doing your time, and it's for money. I work with doctors that are stuck. I work with attorneys that are stuck. I've worked with educators that are stuck. I work with businessmen that are stuck. I work with young people that are stuck, because we all get stuck. When we get to the limitations of what we know, the psychology behind belief and behavior is don't do it. And eventually we conform. And that's just not you. It's everybody. Conform. Give in. Let it go. Why would you want to do that? Who do you think you are? All these ideas, where are they coming from? It's better to be safe than be sorry. Why would you let go of your pension plan? Why would you let go of your 401k? Why would you let go? Why in the hell would you stay there? You're done. Why would you keep doing what you're doing? Would you rather stay there and repeat that day for the next 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years? Think about that. You want to continue doing what you're doing? You want to continue to think in the same manner that you think and stay on the same plan? I have seen people's lifetime waste away. Their whole life. On the same plan. Same mindset. Again, goals, they're to grow. It's to change you. We are the only problem we will ever have. And guess what? You're the only solution. It's you. You got to change you. If you're on purpose, everything is on course. If you're not on purpose, everything is off course. If you're on purpose, everything in life is on course. If you're off your purpose, you're off kilter. When you have the right vision, you quickly recognize the right goal. When you have the vision, you quickly recognize the right goal. When you have the goal, you quickly devise a vision. Now, some of us, the vision didn't work. Did the vision not work, or did we not work? What is the vision? The goal is the end, where you're at. Your goal is finished. You're living in your dream. But the goal wasn't to get, it was to grow. What we receive back in ideas is a strategy. That's the vision. Now, some of our visions and some of our strategy, they didn't work. Did the vision not work, or did your strategy not work? When you look at the strategy and you're looking at your vision, normally your vision is telling you one thing and your strategy is doing something else. Normally your vision is telling you one thing, but your strategy, which is what you do, is telling you something else. And if you were to really measure your strategy, that means what you do all day long, you'd find out that you're really not working towards your vision. You're really not executing. You're not doing everything you could be doing and you should be doing. And you would normally find every reason why to go do the opposite thing. This is completely normal. I would work with people all day long. Tell me I got to go. All right, that's what you go. All right, so this is what you're going to do, right? Yeah. Before you know it, I'll call, where you at? What are you doing? And they're off in another place. How many meetings do you have set up? None. None. How many phone calls have you made? 0. 0. But you said you wanted to be a salesman. But you said you wanted to build a company. How many meetings? How many sales calls? How many people? What do you need to meet per day, all day long? And then go check yourself within it. How many did you do? If you didn't do any of them, or you're doing a little, or you're teeter-tottering back and forth, is the vision right? And are you right? Are you right onto your vision? You're going to find out that it's you. You know how many days I've watched waste away? Why is it wasted away? Fear, doubt, worry. Courage went out the door. Valor. Put a goal. See how much valor you have, how much courage you have. Put a goal that you don't know how to do, and let's see how much courage you have. But the courage and the valor is what causes you to go and do the thing you don't know how to do. Get up and do it. Get up and do it. The only thing that I could ever say is no. The only thing that I could ever do is try better. The only thing that I could ever do is say, you still haven't bought me into your idea. The only thing they could ever do is really encourage you to go learn who you have to be to become what you want to be. The world will tell you everything you need to learn to become what you want to become. And it tells you in what? In results. Look at your life today. Look at where you're at. Everything in life has told you what you had to become, what you needed to strengthen, what you need to adapt to have what you have today. Have you done it? Some of it you have, some of it you really had to push yourself to do it. And some of you may have just done the least as possible, but that's why you're getting the results you're getting. So again, your behavior is a product of what? The behavior is a direct product of the way you think. And your behavior is being controlled by the ideas in your head. Your self-image. Who ultimately decides how successful you are? Is it the company? Is it the family? Who really decides and defines how successful you truly are? It's you. It was always you. We do not have problems. We have programs. And what we do is we help you surpass them. Fix your vision, then plot your course. Fix on your vision. Get a mental fix. Vision is the key connector between one's daily goals and one's lifetime purpose. Then plot the course. You can never go beyond what you are unless you're willing to become something more. You can never go beyond what you are unless you're willing to become something more. And you've got to make decisions. Clearly defined goals and decisions. And a goal without a date is a non-entity. If you have a goal and you never put a date on it, study done in Harvard, it'll never happen. It'll be a non-entity. It cannot make way in your life because you're not willing to decide. Mind and body is a circuit becoming one. When you can do it as second nature, it's yours. Mind and body, mind, it's unseen, but the body is seen. Your thoughts and your body are one. Now, when your mind and body can become one, and it can be one as second nature, it's yours. Now, think about that with what you've already accomplished today. What you can already do, you can do it like that. You can go get a job doing the same thing again. You can go get another job and go do the same thing again. And you can go get another job just like that. Because the mind and body are one. You already have that fixed idea. You already have that understanding just like that. You can go get another job, but it's just like that. You can go find another job in another city just like that. You can go find another job in another city just like that. Why? Because the mind and body are one. It's second nature to you. And what's second in nature to you is what you know how to do. Now, you've got to be able to get to the point where you can do this with your goal. And how do you do that? The willingness to get up and do the thing you don't want to do. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. Success is not normal. That's why so very few people do it. Because you got to go and learn to do the things you don't want to do. But the purpose of the goal is to become somebody different at the end. As you adapt to everything you have to do on purpose, because you don't want to do it, you achieve what others don't. Because it's rare to go and do what you don't want to do. It's rare to go learn what you don't want to learn. And you've got to push yourself to go do the things you don't want to do. But the purpose is to get you to do the thing you don't want to do. It's on purpose. When you do the thing that you don't enjoy, when you do the thing that you don't want to do, you grow. That's when you stretched. It was the only time you could have stretched. It was the only time you could have grown. Pick up the phone and make the call. Don't want to do it. Pick up the phone and make the call. Don't want to do it. Pick up the phone and make the call. I don't want to do it. But if you'd have just done it, you'd have grown. You see, every time you pick up the phone and you make the call to the person you don't want to do, or you do the thing you don't want to do, you go set up the meeting you don't want to do, that was the growth you had to have to become and to see the person you want to see at the end of the goal. If majority people really would have known, and I'm talking about the really successful people, if you were to really have told them all the things they had to go and do that they hated to do, they probably would have never done it to begin with. When you set a goal and it's on purpose, you don't care what you have to do. You do it anyway. It takes guts. It takes courage. It takes a bulletproof attitude. It takes a tough mental mindset. When everybody's telling you it can be done, when everybody's saying it shouldn't be done, whenever nobody knows why you're doing what you're doing, only you know because you're working with the vision that nobody else can see. But clearly understand, you will have to do what you don't want to do. But that's when you grow. That was when you grow. That's when you become the man that you never knew before. Prosperity. It's a choice. Prosperity. It was your choice. And you're always a decision away. Take a look at what we're doing. You want to be different? You want to have something different? You must first be something different. Institute of the Mind, change people's lives globally. It's a choice. Everybody have a wonderful day, and we'll be seeing you guys next week.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.